Before we get into the 1-minute review on the join operator, we'll first go over what the join operator does. It can be a little bit confusing. If you're currently using the join operator, you probably don't need a review. But if you need a review, you need to know what it is. So before we get into the 1-minute review, here we go. Before we get into this is using an analogy using the between and operators of the where operators of the where operator. In order to understand this analogy, you need to know what the where operator is and what it does. Here's the where operator. The way that this command would work is select, and then you put in the columns. In this instance, it's at the event ID column, the username column, and the login date column from the table. So we're selecting these columns from this table where the event ID is greater than or equal to 100. Here is where the between or the and could go in, making between and functions of the where operator. So just like between and are functions of the where operator, like between and are operators are functions of the where operator, the join operator is more or less a function of the from operator. From what table? Because we're joining tables, as it further dictates the tables from which the data comes from, using the table's columns to join them. Grok said, you're absolutely on the right track with your analogy, yada yada yada. From, okay, core idea. In SQL, the from clause specifies the source tables for a query, much like a starting point for fetching the data. The join operator extends this by defining how multiple tables in the from clause are combined to form a single result set. It uses columns, typically keys, to link rows across tables, effectively shaping the data source before the rest of the query, like where or select processes it. Similarly, in the where clause operator, like between and, refine which rows are included by setting conditions on the data. Just as between and filter rows, join dictates which rows from multiple tables are paired together based on a condition, usually in the on clause. So you're spot on in this analogy. We're going to go over just two different join clauses. Here's a bunch of join operators. We've got inner joins. Is this going to give us a list of joins? Maybe it's further up here. There we go. We've got left join, inner join, right join. Here's the list. If you want to pause the video, here's a good list for you. Cross join, full join, right join, left join, inner join. All right, there's a overview of what joining is. Here's your 1-minute refresher on the join clause. Select all columns from the machines table, left join, on the left join employees on machines, that's the table, dot device underscore ID, that is the column, equals employees, that's again the table, dot device underscore ID. This command tells SQL to select all columns from the machines table. It then further commands SQL to only output all columns from the machines table and only rows where there is information in the device ID column of both tables. So there's your 1-minute review. If you enjoyed that, if you appreciate it, if it's helped you, it doesn't cost you anything. Hit the like button, subscribe. It helps me out a little bit. That way we're working together here. I'm not going to keep making these videos if people are not liking and subscribing to the videos. Without further ado, shalom, God bless the work of your hands, and here's the remainder of the video. The purpose of this video is to show my skills in SQL, showing potential employers that I have the skills that I claim to have. And if you're not a potential employer, this is a refresh for you, or maybe giving you some information that you didn't have before on how to join tables in SQL. Usually when I do videos, you're watching me put in commands in Linux, in the Linux CLI, or in an ethical hacking lab. But in this instance, I don't have this SQL data in my lab, in my personal lab environment. This comes from a course that I took, that lab environment, and because the course is copyrighted, well, I can't show me actually doing the course. But this is my task report that I put together while doing the lab in SQL. Joining tables in SQL. 1, 2, 3, we got 3 tasks going on here. We're going to match employees to their machines. We're going to return more data. Then we're going to retrieve login attempt data. Task 1, match employees to their machines. Here's the output. How to get this output here. Here are the command semantics. We are selecting all columns from the machines table. We're performing an inner join from the employees table on. So we've got the from machines table and from the employees table. The inner join is on the employees table, specifically on the machines tables column called device ID and the employees tables column called device ID. So both the machines and the employees table have a device ID column, and that's where the join is happening. This command tells SQL to select all columns from the machines table. It then further commands SQL to only output rows where there is information on the device ID column of both tables, and then we're going to get one table with the data from one table with the data from both tables in it on that join. Task 2, return more data. Here's our output right here, and here's our command semantics. We're selecting all columns from, again, the machines table, and now we're performing a left join on the employees table. So we've all columns from the machines and employees tables, specifically on machines table. The machines table has a column called device ID, and the employees table has a column called device ID. Same thing, but instead of a inner join, that's right, instead of an inner join, we're doing a left join. This command tells SQL to select all columns from the machines table. It then further tells SQL to only output all columns from the machines table and only rows where there is information in the device ID column of both tables. If you want to pause the video here and look at this output versus this output, go ahead and do so. This here is our penultimate output, and now we have our ultimate output before we wrap up. Task 3, retrieve login attempt data. Here's our output, and here are our command semantics doing another inner join. Our command semantics look like this. Select all columns from the employees table. We're doing an inner join using also the login attempts table on the employees tables username column and the login attempts tables username column. So two different tables, They both have a username column in them. This command tells SQL to select all columns from the employees table. It then further commands SQL to only output data from both tables where there is an entry in the username column of both. So there you have it, my friends. A little bit confusing. Maybe go over the video a couple of times if you need a refresher, and do some practice commands. We joined tables in 3 different ways using 2 inner joins and a left join. This SQL skill is useful when collecting log data that is needed for various everyday tasks a security analyst might perform, such as investigating a security incident or recognizing a pattern of behavior in problem employees that could help in improving the security culture of an organization, hardening the company's overall security posture. So you guys can spend just a little bit more time eating hot wings and a little bit less time with your hair on fire. God bless the work of your hands, and shalom.